We can get started, don't you? Hello, hello. Welcome. Thanks for coming into our live. Welcome.
I think it's happening.
You are too much.
Hey.
You are too much. Welcome.
I've heard. Thank you.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for more people to come into the live chat, and then we can get started. Don't you look beautiful?
Oh.
I love the red.
Thanks. Hey, let me get a while we wait on people, let me get a charger. I'll be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead. You have time. Welcome everyone that's coming into our live Instagram. No worries. Come on into our live Instagram. Come on in. We have something very, very important to share. Very, very important to talk about today. My name is Sharissa Jackson, and I am the CEO of Project Give Hope. And for the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, each month we bring on guests into our live Instagram to talk about issues surrounding cancer. For the last 2 weeks, we've been talking to survivors of cervical cancer. So this week, I thought it would be great to actually have someone come on and we talk about how to live past the diagnosis. What should you do? What are some options out there? What's the support out there? And I have none other than the wonderful Ms. Dania Bell. She is an advocate, cancer survivor. She's a social media influencer. She is all about advocacy for those who have had the diagnosis of cancer. So we're going to have that conversation about what is life after the diagnosis. How do we cope? How do we deal with it? What kind of support should you have out there? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So come into the chat, come in here and ask questions. Come in here and just listen to what we have to say. We are both true advocates for cervical cancer and letting women know what they should do, where they should go. And so we have an upbeat, inspirational, motivational talk today. So Dania, go ahead and take it. Tell people who you are and what you've been doing.
All right, so I'm Dania Bell. As you know, I am the founder of the Dandelion Foundation, and I am almost 2 years cancer-free.
Nice.
Yeah, and I am very passionate about advocacy and really helping women survive any kind of gynecological cancer. I'm particularly passionate about cervical cancer because that's the cancer that I was able to survive. So if I can share my story with someone and, they can take something away from that changes their mindset or the trajectory of their treatment and what they do from today forward, I think I've done my job for this day. I see. Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
And that's a huge undertaking to be able to be transparent and to be vulnerable, to share your story with someone, to give them hope and to give them inspiration. And I think as women, that's what is lacking in our community, that we don't share that cohesiveness in order to share what we're doing in order to go through our trials and tribulations. And so for you to be transparent in order to do that with someone that is going through, I think that's amazing. And kudos to you for being 2 years a survivor. I think that's awesome. So let's get started here. I see people are coming in. Come in.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, Nikki.
Welcome.
I see Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
Welcome. So let's get started with why did you choose to become an advocate? Because advocacy is not easy work. You have people that don't want to listen. You have people who be like, I'm fine. I don't need no help. So why did you decide to become an advocate?
I became an advocate out of my own personal need. When I was going through my diagnosis, I would have loved to have a mentor or a friend or someone who had gone through it that could support me and tell me that it was going to be okay, and to tell me what to expect, as I went through the different treatments and making decisions. And, it would have been useful, I believe, for me to have a buddy mentor. I think it would have just, increased my outlook. Initially I was really afraid. When I was diagnosed, I was very scared, and my initial instinct was to run and to do nothing about it.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
You just wanted to run. I mean,
yeah,
you thought running was going to free you?
Well, people run to freedom all the time, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like an escape, right? You wanted to escape from the diagnosis.
I'm not going to deal with it. Like, this is not happening. I'm busy, and I'm not doing it. But I was able to really get centered and grounded, and I really believe it's due to my relationship with God, and He kind of guided me, and I really leaned on the Lord a lot, and I'll talk about that more down the line. But that is how I ended up going to even see the doctor, and getting treatment. So to tie back into your question, that's what inspired me to be an advocate, because people run. And I chase them sometimes.
Do you think in the community, cancer survivor community, that people are receptive to advocates and people who say, "Hey, let me, be here for you. Let's go have coffee and just be your listening ear"? Do you think it's there are people in the community that's receptive to having an advocate?
I think there's room for growth in that area, and I think that comes through awareness, to take the scary out of the advocacy, so that when we show up in people's lives, they don't think that we're there for reasons other than just support and to ensure and help them get through to the other side. People think like, why are you here? Who sent you? What do you want? Leave me alone. This is not real. I hear it, different things, not every day, but often people don't want to be bothered with a supporter or a mentor or advocate.
And that's because you have to develop that trust, right? People they don't trust just a stranger to come and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through, and I'm going through these symptoms. Who are you to say you know what I'm going through?" So it's that trust factor in order to be a good advocate, right?
That is correct.
Wonderful.
Right. And so how do you establish trust with someone you don't know? They just got, diagnosed. So how would you know them? How do you establish trust quickly?
Yeah.
Well, you have organizations who establish trust, and they trust the organization. And if they trust the organization, then they'll trust, hopefully, the people that are associated and affiliated with the organization.
Wonderful. And so when you're establishing that trust, tell us how that happens with your organization. Do you have that let's sit down, let's have some coffee, let me invite you to an event? How do people in the community accept your organization and open that door to trusting what you have to say?
I get mixed reviews. Some people, they want in, and they want a mentor, they want to get through their cancer, and they want to come back and help and work as buddy mentors with newly diagnosed women. And then there are people, again, who don't they'll hear what you have to say, but they kind of don't want to be bothered, and they want to handle their cancer the way that they see fit. And I think I'm very respectful of that too. I try to be not too pushy in people's lives. Establishing rapport is it's an art. And so you have to find common ground with people and find a way to be as authentic and transparent as possible. Because anything fake, or if you have an agenda, if you want them to, be a part of your organization for a particular reason, they're going to see through it. So you have to care about the people, truly care about the people, and that's an art too.
That's good, because you're dealing with not only the patient, but you're dealing with their family members.
Yes.
So you're having to include everybody. Yes. So even if you gain the trust of the patient, it's also gaining the trust of the family member to say, why are you talking to Miss Bell? Who is she? And what does she have to offer?
Why is she here?
Why is she here? And why are you disclosing all of your personal information, right?
Right. Yes.
So it's truly the foundation, establishing that trust and having people believe in what you say. Because if they don't believe it, they're going to just run for the hills again and be like, I'm out here alone doing my own thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be honest, about what you can and can't do.
That's good.
Cancer is cancer, So you can be a buddy mentor. You can walk with a woman from the time a diagnosis is even suspected through treatment and into survivorship. That's the goal. That's, what we want to happen. And here's another thing, Sharisa, is studies have proven that when women have a buddy or a mentor, survival rates increase. So there's that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So why do you think in a lot of the community, or in a lot of these organizations and GYN practices or oncology practices, they don't adopt that concept of having a buddy to say, hey, you just got newly diagnosed. We have this to offer. We have this service to offer, so that we can increase those cancer survival rates. Why do you think that's not the case?
I think it's coming around. I think they are beginning to adopt that. That helps the doctor, because the doctors typically have not gone through a diagnosis, so they don't know what it's like to diagnose, but not to receive it. And so I think they are embracing, and they're opening up to this concept.
I think it's a wonderful concept. Because like anything, when you don't know what you don't know, and if someone's there to help you, that kind of takes away some of that pressure, right? You still may be afraid, right? You still may be scared, but if you have somebody to walk that through with, I think that gives you that added confidence. And I think confidence.
You start believing. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being optimistic, because when you're optimistic and you have hope, that helps your diagnosis, right? And I can understand why the cancer survival rates increase, because now you have optimism. You feel like you can. You want to live, because you have someone motivating you to do that every single time you meet with your buddy.
Right.
I
think it could be the difference between, and I'm not a clinician, so I don't say this from a clinical standpoint, but the difference between somebody with stage 1 not surviving and someone with stage 4 surviving, I really believe a lot of that is a mental health aspect. Yeah. And that comes in through support, through believing, through meditation, having someone to help you, help you get rid of the stress, or to de-stress, meditate, breathe more, drink more water.
I think all of those things are healthy living. And anytime you change from a clinician standpoint, anytime you change something about your health to improve your health, it definitely increases your longevity. We see it all the time. If you want to lose weight and you don't lose weight, and what comes with weight gain? You got diabetes, you got hypertension, so therefore you're taking off years of your life. And the same thing with the psychosis of having to be diagnosed. If you have that optimism, you have hope and support, it just keeps you going, and that's what keeps you hanging on, so to say.
Right, and that's the best part of this for me, is to give people hope where there was none, where they thought that they were doomed, they thought that they were just kind of somebody referred to themselves as one of Santa's broken toys. I'm like, no, no, you're not. Yeah, no. But so that's, because of cervical cancer being an HPV-related cancer, women feel a particular way about it. They feel sometimes they feel dirty, they feel unclean, they feel used, they don't feel like they're marketable. That's an actual word that someone used with me. So, and all of those are that's myths. It's just more stigmas and taboos. That's all it is. It's untruths.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when you bring more awareness to what HPV is, right? Everyone knows it's a sexually transmitted disease, but again, that doesn't mean you're dirty. That doesn't mean you are not marketable. That doesn't mean you can't get married, you can't be successful. It just says when you're aware and you get the information and you understand the information, then you can move past it. Yeah, exactly. And like you're a clinician, how many people have HPV? You know what? Studies have shown people who are sexually active, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, they're not protecting themselves. Right. The risk of getting it is higher than someone that is protecting themselves using a condom and so on and so forth. So at any given point of time, you could potentially have, for women, a abnormal PAP due to the HPV virus. So if you're sexually active and you're not using a condom, you're putting yourself at risk. Whether or not that's a high percentage or a low percentage, you're putting yourself at risk with a partner that that you're not protecting yourself against using a condom. So the rate is higher when you're not protecting yourself. Yeah, would you say it's about 85% or higher? I would definitely say that. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I would definitely say around that. Yeah, I would definitely say it's high because, again, when you're not protecting yourself, you don't know what your partner has done, and the HPV virus kind of lays dormant until it rears its ugly head. So until it decides to say, hello, here I am, you can be carrying the virus for a while, right? Yeah, which is why it's important we educate women to continuously get your pap smears, continuously, get your follow-ups because of that. And then if you introduce another partner and you ain't protecting yourself, then you're doubling the opportunity for you to actually get cervical cancer and HPV. HPV, right. HPV, which can lead to cervical cancer. Exactly. Right. Exactly. So the risk is pretty high when you're out there, not protecting yourself. Yeah. Well, and I want to talk about getting on the other side of yes. I have more questions. So yeah. Right. So one of the things, or some of the things that I did to, I'm moving today, guys. So just be okay with that. You were in a great spot at one point, and now you got. Oh, was I? My phone is moving because my hand. Hold on. Now you got us looking at you all fuzzy. At one point, you were clear. We could see. Let's see how this does. Now we're having to go through this haze that you have us. I don't want you to be hazy. How's that? Is that? It's not as good as when you were back there in the back next to that cabinet, that brown cabinet. But then I was holding it with my hand. My arm was tired. Right here. Yeah, that was beautiful. We see nice and clear and everything. Okay, I'll just hold it. All right. My arm is getting tired. You just have to hold it. Okay, so let's get into someone saying, okay, I just had that unforgettable conversation with my GYN today. She told me, that I have the diagnosis of cervical cancer. She ran through what to expect. I really don't understand because I stopped hearing after she said cervical cancer. I left the office and I was totally scared, totally don't know what to do. Take us from there. Yeah, that's a really lonely feeling. And this is actually where a buddy mentor would come in. So, someone who had been through, the same or similar diagnosis, that's where I think that you could, a person would have the most benefit because that person would then say, listen, you're going to get through this, right? This is what's going to happen. The doctor, of course, doesn't have a lot of time to explain. In fact, I don't even know if the doctor really knows what's going to happen outside of the clinical. Yeah. What I can tell you is going to happen is you're going to want to Google this into 2020
29. You're going to want to Google every single thing you can think of, every aspect, every variety. You're going to see clinical trials. And I really believe that is not useful. I think that Google has, it's useful, but I only did Google once or twice. And I could see quickly that I was going to get sucked in and probably end up with, something that I don't, manifest something I don't even have. So I left Google alone, and I went to the other G, which is God, and that's where I was going to earlier. And I had a conversation with God. When I was driving home from the diagnosis, my legs were shaking. I was really, really scared. I've never been more scared before in my life. And I've had somebody pull a gun on me before, and I was more scared of that diagnosis than I was of that gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it because of the unknown, or is it because your GYN didn't have the time to tell you what to expect and how to move past your diagnosis and to give you that hope? Why? I mean, that's significant there, that someone's had a gun to your head and you were more scared about the diagnosis than being shot. I mean, for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
And so do you think that was because you already lost hope, or is it because of the approach the GYN took that didn't help educate you about the process? Why do you think you left it?
I think maybe as a clinician, cancer has become so normalized for people who work in the medical industry, but I was a government contractor, living my best life, and cancer wasn't normal for me. Like, that wasn't part of my plan. And so I don't think it had anything that she told me the stage, which a lot of people don't even get that when they get diagnosed, which is surprising. But I knew the stage. I knew what the plan of action was when I left. She told me everything. But again, it was like I couldn't hear anything other than
cancer.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So imagine,
and it was scary
here without it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really scary, and I don't know. I just thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. And then I thought I was going to have chemo. And then I thought I just thought all of the things that you hear about it before it happens to you is what I thought was going to happen to me. And some of those things did happen. I had to have surgery.
Yeah.
I had to have radiation.
Yeah.
Really sucked.
Yeah. So where did your strength come from? How did you go from being scared? Oh my God, I've read the things on Google. Oh my goodness, I got to go through particular radiation. How did you come on the other side and can smile now and say, you know what? I did it, but what's your golden nuggets? I mean, what
It's another G. I love it. You got all the G's. Google golden nuggets. It's God, honey. I promise you that. It's nothing other than God. I didn't take any serum. I didn't go to see a therapist. I did see a therapist, but none of that was it. It was God. I promise you that. And I had a conversation with God the night of my diagnosis. I called. It was Good Friday. And I called all my friends up. Like, nobody was around. My parents, my dad was busy out buying food for Easter Sunday dinner. Nobody was home. Oh my God. Can you believe that? Not one for everybody was like, I was calling people and they were texting me back, shopping, getting nails done, and then just not answering. Oh my God. Nobody, yeah.
You talk about lonely. My goodness.
That was a very lonely time. But, it was Friday. It was Good Friday. And so to me, that was really significant because that is the same day that Jesus was crucified. And I felt like I was being crucified. And I had a conversation with God. And I told the Lord, I didn't make a promise because you can't really promise God something, right? Not a good idea. Anyway, I told God, I said, if you get me through this, I will tell everybody you did it. And I will help as many people as I can. And so that's what I've been doing.
Man, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I mean, for those people who don't have hope or don't have that experience, I mean, imagine what they have to deal with. I mean, particularly like you just said, your family didn't answer, no one didn't answer. So imagine those people who don't have a relationship with God, and therefore they're still out there lonely. They're still out there afraid. The family didn't answer the phone at that moment that they needed them. Wouldn't it be awesome to be able to say, hey, there's a little buddy over there on the foundation.
You're hilarious. You're something else. Yes, but yes, really, seriously, and you know, we respect everybody's religion. If you're a Muslim, there are Muslim volunteer mentors. If you are a Hindu, there are Hindu volunteer mentors.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. People who speak your language. Yeah, because cancer is not just for, you know, Christians. You know, it happens to everybody.
Yeah,
and
but I think that's
whatever your God is,
yeah.
I would highly recommend you reach out to him.
Yeah,
when you get a cancer diagnosis.
I think it's very significant that your foundation does that you provide a buddy that looks like, feels like, talks like a potential cancer survivor. I mean,
if you want that. Yeah. So the thing I want to do, I think I told you about this. I told some people over at Knock, I really want to create an app so that people can choose their own buddy mentor. That would be the best. And that way, if English is not your first language, when you're going through a cancer diagnosis, you want to talk to somebody in your native language. You don't want to translate in your head and then speak in English when you're going through cancer. And so that is my big project for 2019, is to get that app launched so that women can choose their own buddy. So, you know, there'll be like check boxes, and you can just kind of filter down how, and like just like on Tinder. Yeah.
To be able to find that perfect match, kind of, sort of.
Or, you know, like within reason. Because there's some cancers, like with GYN cancer, some are rare, like vulvar cancer and vaginal cancer. So you may not be able to pick, but with ovarian and cervical cancer, you'll have a much bigger pool of mentor survivors to choose from.
I think that's awesome. So what would you say are the key things that women should do after they can breathe, relax, they feel like, okay, I can understand what I have? What are the 5 things you would tell women to do after they've digested that they have the cancer and now it's time to move past the cancer? What would be the 5 things you tell women to do?
Well, the one big umbrella thing would be to create a survivorship plan, right? And
nice.
So in that plan, like, you would want to put aside daily time for laughter. You have to cultivate laughter into your world when you're going through cancer, so that you can have first of all, laughter is healing. The best laugh you've ever had, Sharisa, is better than the best meal you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
Guaranteed of that.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's my number one thing. Laughter is number one. Oh. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Does it look like I've been... Okay. Intentionally cultivate laughter into your life or your world. And then also... prayer and meditation is really important. Number 3 would be cognizant of what you're eating. Diet and nutrition is super duper important when you're going through a cancer diagnosis. This is not the time to... For me, it was not the time to eat. I did a lot of fasting and praying and intermittent fasting, where I would stop eating at 6 o'clock p.m. and not eat again until 10 a.m. And that, I believe, really helped me when I got ready for surgery, just to be kind of the healthiest presentation that I could, give to my doctor so that she could do her best work, which she did. But also number 5 is movement is medicine. So you got to move. I like yoga, but I also like to run, whatever your thing is. But you have to move. Being sedentary doing cancer, I don't think is a good idea, beyond the medical benefits of it, but just the mental health aspect. Those endorphins will make you feel better for sure. And if you're going through radiation treatment,
tell us.
I guess number 6, lift weights. It's or do Pilates, some kind of strength training. You will need that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Those are some good, as I keep saying, golden nuggets there to help women just move past it. They've been told what they have, now it's time to... I love that survival plan, man. I would tell my daughters all the time, create a plan. You got to have a plan, because when you have a plan, then you can stick to it. You have somewhere to go, and you got to
have a point of reference, right?
You have a point of reference, right? And to be able to, that's good, to create that cancer survival plan. I think that's huge, because then you can incorporate other people into that plan too, right? You can say, hey, my buddy, I need you to run with me. Hey, my buddy, I need you to go to Pilates with me. Just to have that person to be there with you to support you. So I love
and
that
prayer
idea.
too. You need somebody to pray with too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully your buddy can pray with you.
And if not, you have that app. You go on that app and you find that person that can do that for you, right? Can do that with you. I think that's I love that idea of a cancer survival plan. So let's get into GYNs and selecting a GYN that's compatible to you and your needs. What would you say is a key thing that women should be looking for? So when, God forbid, this happens, they feel that she cares. They feel that that GYN will give them the support they need. They feel confident in that GYN. What would you say a woman should do in order to find that GYN that they feel would be able to be there, God forbid this happens?
Okay, so for me, everybody's different. Like, what's important to you? If you're somebody who needs to be coddled, and then look for that in a GYN. You know, you're going to have to interview some and just see what kind of vibe you get from them. Me, I was looking for skill and acumen. I wanted somebody who could go in, get negative margins, and I can get coddled. Like, I got Jesus, you know, I'll be okay. But I need somebody who is skilled that can get me the results that I wanted. So that's what I look for. So when I was looking for a surgeon, I looked for someone who had done the surgery that I was going to have many times, like hundreds, not 20 times, but like, you know, 200, 300. And I found someone who had done it 500 times.
So you wanted that experience. So experience was good for you.
That was mandatory. That was all experience was all I needed, really. I needed her to be skilled in her craft and what she was doing, because I wanted to be cancer-free. And, you know, through her skill and the doctors who took care of me at radiation, plus I believe combined with that survivorship plan, I'm really proud and so thankful to God to be able to say that I'm cancer-free today.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's important for women to understand. Just like you vet, you know, friends and people in your lives, you got to also vet your surgeon and make sure that surgeon is going to do what you need him to do. And just don't get a referral from somebody like, girl, take this particular surgeon. No, do your Google search, find out what that person has done.
What school did they go to? Do they have any accolades at NIH or NCI? Like, you know, like what organizations are they a member of? Are they on any boards that are significant to you? Understand that, you know?
So just because
they want a word.
And just because they've been referred to you by your GYN, hey, go to this person, you got to make sure that person fits you. And
correct.
At the end of the day, it's you that's going to be on that table. And so doing that thorough research and being comfortable, being confident about the process and the procedure. Dania, I can tell you so many women that come into our practice to get hysterectomies and myomectomies, and these women are uncertain of what they're about to have happen to them. And it annoys me and it frustrates me. And I'm like, you're trusting us with your life because you're going under general anesthesia, right?
Yeah.
And to know that...
That's the most vulnerable position that one can be in.
Exactly.
Right?
And for me to ask you, good morning, ma'am. How are you today? I'm Sharisa, your nurse. What do you haven't done today? What surgery you haven't done today? And they'll be like, oh, I'm having some laparoscopic something. And I'm like, you having what now? Is that the name of the surgery? Laparoscopic something?
Right.
And then I'll be like, are we taking your uterus? Are we taking your cervix? And it's like, it's foreign to them. Because
you see how great a buddy mentor would be there, though?
Yes.
Because first of all, they don't even know. You're crazy. When you're going through this, you can't remember anything. You're constantly seeing doctors and CAT scans and, you know, a variety of, you're just in doctor heaven. Yes. And so if you have a buddy mentor who's removed, who can keep you organized, and so can even speak to your nurse navigator for you.
Yes.
Yeah, like, no, she's here for hysterectomy, you know. Was it salpingogram or
oophorectomy,
right? Bilingual.
All of those those things, right? But you're absolutely right, because when and these women are coming to us scared, so I have to be cognizant of that. They're scared. They're about to have major surgery. You're fumbling all over your words. You don't quite understand because you're scared. And so I get that. So having a buddy would be able to say, you know what, Teresa, the nurse, she's about to have a uterus out. She's about to get her ovaries out, and she understands it. But by law, the patient got to understand it. You see what I'm saying? And so the buddy, maybe before they get there, can say, hey, make sure you understand what's about to happen. Because when you get off that table and general anesthesia is wearing off and you wondering where my uterus at, I can't do nothing with the uterus. It's gone.
And so I heard of a woman in India having a transplant, so I mean that could be an option, I suppose.
Girl, every person ain't gonna have no transplant, but the bottom line is, like you said, it's important that you inform yourself, and you should be aware. And you're right, when you're scared, you're about to have surgery, you're not gonna remember everything. Because I see patients every day that don't remember everything. They say, "Oh, I'm having 6 fibroids taken out," and they get off the table, they've had 25 that we've taken out. So it's those types of things where you got to educate yourself. Make sure you know, and if you don't know, like you said, get a buddy that can help keep you abreast of things.
Track of what's going on with your medical appointments.
Yes.
I went to so many medical appointments. I can't. They're a blur. Like looking back on it, yeah. Because like one appointment beget another appointment, kind of,
Yeah. And it's important too. How would you say the family support and the family unit comes into play with living past the diagnosis? Where does the family unit play into all of this?
It's great when people have a family to support them through a diagnosis. I've seen some stellar families come together, friends and families come together and support people. And then I've seen it where the families are scared and they're kind of fear-mongering and scaring the patient. I've seen where women hide their diagnosis from their spouses. So family and friends are great, if you can, but a trained survivor is best, in my opinion.
Because they know what you're about to go through, so you can relate. Right? You can tell me, Teresa, this is what radiation is going to be like, okay? You're going to be sick. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. You're going to be nauseous. But for someone who hasn't had that, they can learn the from the books. They can learn it, what you're supposed to experience, but they can't say, I experienced this as well.
Right. Exactly.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful what your organization is doing. So tell us where you're at with your organization, with your buddies. Do you have them in different areas, or are you still trying to find buddies? Where's your organization with doing all
We are always looking for volunteer mentors to get trained and act as mentors to newly diagnosed women. Right now, we are just in the Northern Virginia area and Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a volunteer mentor in Texas, and then we have one in DC, 3 in Virginia, and 1 in Maryland. So
nice. And
we're growing. We're small, but we're growing.
And so how much time would you say, if I wanted to be a buddy, or anyone that's here watching our video wanting to be a buddy, how much time would you say should be dedicated to being a buddy? Or do they have to sign up and say, I'm going to be a buddy this Saturday, or I can obligate myself to 4 hours a month? I mean, what is the commitment to being a buddy?
Right. So I think it's individual. I try, when you sign up, like when you go through the training, I hope that it encourages lifelong friendships. These are the kind of women, like, it can, I don't want it to feel like a job where you have to dedicate 4 hours to it. I want you to find a buddy that you can be a friend to, and it results in lifelong friendships. Mm-hmm. So, you may never hear from your mentee, maybe once or twice. Like there's one woman in California, I talked to her the day that she got diagnosed. I haven't heard from her since then, and she is not taking calls. Then there's people that I talk to every day. Some people I talk to once a month.
So it's truly about fulfilling the needs of the survivor.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. If the survivor wants to talk and they want to talk today, then you talk to them today. If they don't want to talk to you today, then they don't talk to you today.
And if
there's no
obligation, that doesn't mean that you stop your life for that. You know, you make yourself available within reason. But if someone's always calling when you're not available, then maybe that's not a great match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I love the idea. I think, it's like you said, it doesn't having to be about GYN cancers. I think having this concept of having a buddy with any type of cancer, to have people just have someone to walk through the process with them. I mean, I think it's a wonderful concept. I think it's a wonderful idea. Your advocacy, I mean, I could just see you beaming around wanting to help women, and which is why I wanted you on the show. So inspiring, so motivating. So we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to let you, give us some inspiring, motivating tips for anyone that's out there listening, for them to leave today inspired, hopeful. It's on you.
All right. So my sister Tina has an organization for women too, and it's called Warrior Women. And I love her slogan. And the slogan is perspective, mindset, and stability. And the first time she shared that with me, I was like, yeah, okay. And then she said it to me a couple more times, but most recently when she said it, it really resonated with me as to how it can help women that are going through a GYN cancer diagnosis. As you know, a GYN cancer diagnosis is not the same as any other cancer diagnosis. It's there's, again, shame, fear, guilt, all of those things, and women don't want to talk about it. But when I thought about perspective, I was like, okay, so what's the perspective? You have this cancer. It's below the belt. People are going to think a particular way about it, and it's our duty to educate them and to bring awareness, to change their perspective about it. And then the mindset, right? Mm-hmm. The mindset goes back to the survivor plan. You've got to adopt a plan of some sort, okay?
I love it.
And that's going to lead to stability, because you don't want to go through cancer feeling like you're falling through cancer. You want to walk. You really want to march through cancer if you can. Yeah.
Almost be a hero through cancer with your cape on. I'm here.
Yeah. Right. They should be issued in the chemo rooms. Yes. For everyone.
Yeah. I'm here. Let's go. Yeah. Let's make this happen. Because I got things I got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So just kind of remember that. PMS. Perspective, mindset, and stability.
PMS, I love it. All right, dear, go ahead and give us ways we can reach you, the viewers can reach you with your organization, and we're going to finish up here.
All right, so you can reach me at the phone number for Dandelion Foundation is 703-677-1986.
Okay, I think she froze on us here, but all of her information is in the post as far as her website. You can certainly reach her on all of her social media areas, on Instagram, on Facebook. You could certainly I am me if you want to reach out to her. I think it's a wonderful organization. I love the fact that we can talk about moving past the diagnosis and know that there's hope out there.